It is Team Liquid Academy versus Immortals Academy. And with this, you have the new changes of the round robin. They've actually faced before, with Team Liquid taking the win on that one with Schernfire in the jungle instead of Mike Young. So in this game, we're looking for Immortals to have their redemption, to bring these matchup to a 1-1 between the teams. And as a matter of fact, looking at the draft, you gotta say it is one crazy scenario here for them. Ziggs in the mid lane for Yasui, and then Alorum with Yorick, once again going back to those split push days of Optic Gaming when he was with them. But another little peek as well with Set in the mid lane. It's going to cause some mild concerns for myself here with Ziggs, who is going to be constantly throwing out those artillery barrages at you with the bombs, harassing and pushing from such a long distance. He's going to have some trouble getting onto him in the early stages, but that's where I'm looking at these two junglers of Potluck and Schernfire to keep their attention there, to make sure that you can shut down Yasui, get Insanity to the point where he can do exactly what Set needs to do, walk up and be intimidating. But now, it's all just a matter of time for them. You have those vision wards thrown out here for Immortals, wanting to make sure that there's no tricky business here from Schernfire with that aggressive start, as he is so famous to do. Speaking of, actually, Schernfire has really brought up a strong history and strong record for Team Liquid, sitting at 3 wins, 1 losses for him since he came down from the LCS squad. Already seeing some trading in the bot lane, as we do have Altec in for the Academy team coming down from the LCS. So this is where it actually is a little bit of a bolster to Immortals, because of the fact that they have a more consistent marksman, but you have a really awkward matchup because you're going in with very short range. You want to be up in Tactical's face, but Cal's never going to let you do that with Thresh. He's going to be flaying you away. He's going to be keeping that safe distance. As you can see, Tactical getting complete range of that bottom lane, and this is what Immortals wanted to look for, but those wards fell out in time. Schernfire does look for it, but he does not get the smite, but he gets Potluck to disengage. That's all he needs to make sure Potluck struggles. He has to pop the scrying just to see if he can spot Schernfire looking for more. Is able to take away the Raptors, and now that will cause such a delay in Diana's clear speed, and to get to that point where she wants to be ganking these lanes, especially with Insanity, who we're seeing how the Haymaker is able to sort of try and manage Ziggs here. Does miss with the Facebreaker, but that's just extra punishment for Yasui, dropping him to just a 3rd health, and for a moment, it's just showing bad light for Immortals, but they're not out of the game yet. Another very late game investment for the side of Team Liquid is Jenkins on this top side with Gangplank. They have so much scaling, not just with Yasui, Ziggs, and Jenkins Gangplank, but with the team fight capability that Schernfire and Tactical are going to be able to use. They're just trying to outsmart Immortals at their own game, but getting stuck in the wall forces a flash away for Jenkins. Might be something where Potluck will divert his eyes up here and see if he can get Alorum to that point where he can become that split-pushing monster that is Yorick. Nice hook here on Cal, seeing if he can get some additional damage. Fortunately, Tactical is not in reach for that one. Going in, seeing sort of how these two teams need to play out for this game. You're sitting at 4-6 for Team Liquid. Yes, you're on an upward trajectory with Schernfire, but you need to make sure you have that momentum, constant momentum going forward. And on the other side, Immortals, who has been having a little bit more difficulty and staggered performances throughout the entire split, has been going with wins and losses to teams across all the tiers, top or bottom. Speaking of top, Alorum getting in some trouble. The flash actually gets hit with the knockup. The wall is there to deny any additional damage from Schernfire, and he gets out with his life, but he will lose pressure in this top side, giving Jenkins more time to farm up for himself and see if he can actually bounce the turret back. It will probably force Alorum to use the teleport to make sure that he can get something here, but it does also divert the eyes of Potluck to see if he might come back for a round and grab a possible first blood here. Jenkins does not know Potluck's in the vicinity. He gets walled in. This is bad news for Gangplank, as all you need is that Crescent Blade to hit. You're trying to spend as much time as possible. Misses the Crescent Blade, but he goes in anyways and will find the first blood. Will he give it to Alorum? Will he be the nice guy? Or will he let Jenkins just walk away? No! Crescent Blade confirms the kill for Potluck, making Immortals now have a dominant performance and sort of presence in this top side. You want to have that. You want to make sure that Alarm will be able to 1v1 Jenkins as much as possible. This is where Yorick thrives, to where he can lock you down, have someone who can't dash through his wall, and then just completely beat them down with the Maiden and with your ghouls. Exact performances which you wanted from that one. Now, also expectations from Tactical and Cow here, because it's something for me when I looked into the draft. You actually picked Lucian into the Misfortune. It was that first pick, Misfortune, and to me, it caused that awkwardness of, well, Xayah was available. You could have had something that had a little bit more dueling capability with Xayah Rakan. That was on the board. But maybe Gate and Ultec just were not comfortable with it. They said, no, we need someone who's a bit more beefy in those frontline engagements. We need someone who can allow us time for our mid-game performance to thrive. But I don't know if it will be the best later on. We'll have to keep a note on how well Gate and Ultec will be able to sort of convert some kind of power spikes. Once they hit those 2-item power spikes where Lucian and Tarek will really start to pop off, have to see if they actually will be able to outpace Cow and Tactical. They do take the Dragon though. Team Liquid able to secure that one, making sure that they'll have a little bit additional presence in that bot line. And it also means that you could revert some attention to the top side for this Rift Herald, especially for Immortals, right? Like, you have Alarm here doing pretty well for himself, especially after Potluck came in with that gank. You have the presence, and what is better than getting Shelly to help you out, get some additional plates for you to where you can get that Trinity Force early on that Yorick and really cause a just brutish amount of damage on that side. Another lane we haven't really been paying attention to much because it's sort of been sleeping is that mid lane, but we'll have to get back to that as Potluck is keeping his eyes on this top side, seeing if they can go in for a second round. Alarm does get the snag, he gets the wall. This is all but death for Jenkins as the grave is being dug, but he actually disengages. The turret hits were just a bit too much for Alarm, and he will have to get that eulogy out in time. He does, and it means that they could come back for a second attempt if they so choose. But there you go, pings coming out from Schernfire saying, hey, I can smell the blood in the water. They are looking for this Rift Herald. Let's go ahead and see if we can try and get some pressure back in our hands and keep this momentum going. Looking at the CS as well, doing fairly well for himself, Yusui. This is what you expect from Ziggs. Making sure Insanity never really has any fun time in the mid lane. You don't want to ever deal with that, as said. Constantly being thrown out, harassed, gets the blue buff as well. This is just going to be absolute hell for him for at least a couple minutes until he gets some sort of attention to him. He has the flash face breaker available to go in. Do you have the damage though? Possibly, if Potluck is able to come in as well. But, you know, it's just a matter of waiting it out, seeing if you can get to that stage where you really can just absolutely burst Yusui, where he has no chance of actually coming back for a fight. See, Cow and Tactical going to be roaming up, seeing if they can get some vision here, try and find Potluck where he is, who did recall and actually grab his completed jungle item. So, means he will have a better dueling potential now. This is the problem that Immortals is going to cause for Team Liquid. Team Liquid will have to figure out how well they can sort of manage this massive burst damage that Immortals composition has in those early mid stages when they get their first item and second item. It's much more powerful than Team Liquid, where Team Liquid wants to have that third to fourth item power spike to really feel the burn, feel the pain against Immortals. You know, it's nothing better than having that Mountain Drake to sort of negate that additional early burst. Sure, it's not a lot at this time, but when it gets to the late game stage where Team Liquid wants to be, it's all better than anything. Going to be actually sneaking away this Rift Herald as well. This is perfect denial here for Schernfire against Immortals, because it just denies that split push capability. And so it causes this sense of slow pushing, slow scaling that now in the favor of Team Liquid, where are you going to put that Herald? I want to put it actually in this bottom lane. Really make sure all Tech and Gate feel the consequences and the punishment for picking this short-ranged bottom lane that is struggling against Tactical and Cow. You are 20 CS differential here. That is just absolutely brutish, especially at this point where you have a BF sword to a Vampiric Scepter. Sure, you got some life steal, you have that sustain in lane, but it's not going to be enough if you just have a Shelly coming in, being that battering ram, and causes an opening for Schernfire to come in and just beat you down. But, you know, you do have the Taric ultimate available to sort of spend that time. So maybe mid lane is a little bit better of an option. Make sure Yasui gets some more gold in his pockets to where he can get those item power spikes a little bit quicker than that of Insanity, and he will have to always deal with that constant harassment. Here we go, Surenfire coming in on that bottom side, as we mentioned. Dropping the Herald, gonna get some extra plates. See if you can drop it down to that second plate there where it will get destroyed. Will they make it in time? They definitely will, and this means first turret will be going down in favor of Team Liquid. This is exactly what they want. This is sort of a replicated performance of what they did against Immortals last time they faced in week 4. It was a little bit different. It was 10.3. Nice denial there from Tactical to make sure Gate stays where he needs to be. There comes the ultimate. Will they find a kill? They will not, with the flash being forced as well as the heal from Ultec. But it's just a little bit of a mainstay. Just stall him out. Yes, we are really struggling here. Now a 30 CS differential between Tactical and Ultec. You're just not having a fun time, Ultec, man. If this is what Academy was, imagine if it was LCS. But Yasui able to flash out. Potluck just takes such a brutish amount from that center explosion. But it's all right for them. They have the capability to disengage. You didn't need to use the flash either, but you did lose pressure of this bottom side. Ocean Drake is available. Could be what Team Liquid is looking for. And look at the vision that they have on it. 2 control wards in the river. You have absolute darkness, except that small little ward on that bottom side that's just sort of giving a little bit of a peek, but you can still sneak around it if you're Team Liquid. It's totally fine as it is. Sui clearing out the wave, making sure that they do have that pressure for this dragon, and they will be taking it with ease. There are no members here for Immortals, and this is perfect recipe for disaster for Immortals. They were drafting an early composition and wanted Lucian to win lane. They wanted Alorum to win lane. They wanted Insanity to at least go even to allow Potluck to create the roams and plays, but Surenfire has been ahead of him 5 steps in the way. And it's just wonderful to see because of how Surenfire's transition and learning phase from the LCS to Academy has just grown him as a player, and making it now where there's 75% win rate in Academy. Sure, it's only 4 games, but give him a break, man. He had to deal with Team Liquid while they did not have Broxah. And that's just got to be brutish. And, you know, sort of seeing that transition of in those losses on the LCS stage and then coming in for that redemption arc, it's perfect. You know, might as well make it an anime if you want. Sitting here now with Alorum going back, he does have to deal with Tactical and Cow in this top side now. Shelly is going to be the next objective up, probably in the next couple of minutes. As Tactical will see if he can grab some more turret plates. You have a minute left, so try and get as much as you can. The other thing to mention too that goes into Immortals' sort of crap bucket and TL's advantage pockets is the fact that you have the explosive charge from Yasui's Ziggs. So you look at Team Liquid's composition, you say, okay, they're definitely scaling for late game. They have wave control with Gangplank and with Ziggs. Their team fight pressure pretty strong with Tactical and Surenfire on Misfortune and Jarvan. They can lock us in. Okay, maybe we can sort of try and push them back with some Siege. We don't have a lot of wave here, but hopefully we can find some picks here. Yasui does get taken down, but will they be able to find anything on this back end? I can see them roaming down to this bottom side, see if they can find more, but they're actually keeping their eyes on Tactical. He does get out with the Lantern Express. Luckily, that ticket will save him his life, and they could actually come back for another try. But actually, actions are happening on the bottom side of the map. There is ganks coming in, but the flash from Jenkins was able to force away. Means that they can try and look for another play once again. First, the turret going to be going down, at least for the first turret for Immortals, because they do need to catch up a little bit. They're not too far behind. Yeah, it's only 300 gold, but the pressure feels like it's around 1,000 or 2,000 at least. There you go, there's that turret going down. Thinking of where that gold is, right? Like, yeah, you're only 300 gold down. It's not terrible, right? But you look at Tactical's pockets, and it's just terrible news for Ultec because he wants to be in performance. Now it's even worse news for Insanity because he's going to be losing his life. Yeah, your Haymaker survives for just a little bit, but Yasui gets the gold. So what was once that death in the mid lane that you were able to find is now negated. And with that 25 CS differential, you could possibly look for another turret here for Team Liquid, and it just sinks more into the pockets of Immortals, just causing so much trouble. Yeah, you have 2 kills on Potluck, but he needs to start making some plays once he gets that second item. You can see that he has Hextech Revolver. going to be going for that proto belt soon. Luckily, it's a cheap item, so you can get it fairly quickly. But you need to start making those death squads. You need to roam around with your Altec, with your Insanity, and leave Alorem to his own devices. And Altec just in heaps of trouble again. The vision control from Team Liquid is wonderful. And it rewards them with a nuke to the face for Altec, making now the score 2-2. And that 1,000 gold lead. Now it feels like, okay, now that pressure that Team Liquid has, this is the going in, looking to see if it can make their record 5-6 and then drop Immortals down 6-5. Not looking too great in this second turn of the round robins. Let's see if they can have a little bit of a slow phase. You know, this is exactly what Team Liquid wants. Just play it slow, get that scaling, make sure that you're constantly denying any motions or any vulnerabilities for Immortals to exploit. Because this is their time, this is their moment. 16 minutes in, mid-game pressure. You have those early game power spikes. You have Blade of the Rune King and Trinity Force on both Insanity and Alorem. This is where you want to make those plays. You want to make sure that there's always Jenkins on this bottom side. He's never going to have the capability to try and help out his team in any way. And you'll have that teleport pressure as well to contest these objectives, but you're not in the rotations to do so. You're slow on your resets. And Team Liquid has been able to be quicker on that draw. And now, as a matter of fact, quicker on this catch too. They might be able to find Altec. The flash play does so, and it's just a matter of time for Tarek's ultimate to tick off, and the kill will go over to Tactical. And Team Liquid finds another kill again. Their pressure constantly squeezing down on the throats of Immortals. Looking to see if they can take this turret. They do have the satchel charge to hasten that siege, and they will do so, and it is going to be Cloud Drake that they will set their eyes on next. But what can you find in return, Immortals? I do see Insanity on that Rift Herald. But Team Liquid does smell the blood. They might try and see if they can push you off or get some free damage in so they can have that pressure. Do see Jenkins, see if he can push out a little bit more. He is still struggling in that CS department. Hasn't gotten the Trinity Force yet either. But now with the Rift Herald, I was telling Immortals, you know, 16, 17 minutes in, it's a mid-game. Do something, come on. This is your moment, this is where you shine. Use the Rift Herald, get some objectives, create some pressure, throw it into Alorem's bot side, and force a fight. Get some vision control. Look at your top side vision control right now. You've got that denial, but it's Team Liquid that's taking advantage of it. What are you doing, buddy? Insanity will be able to get the kill. I highly doubt it, but the Conqueror could do something. Unfortunately not. The heal comes in from Tactical, and they secure their 4th kill, the 2nd for the Misfortune. And now you are a man down. Now, where do you put that Herald? You need to wait until Insanity respawns? Okay, great, but you have to have that timing right. And you're not having it because Surenfire and Tactical, mostly Cow actually. Cow is just making sure Tactical is in the right place at the right time. And then Surenfire has been able to always be that 5 steps ahead of Potluck. It's starting to become 10 steps ahead, as a matter of fact. It's just miserable for him. And it's just at that point, you know? You got your vision control? Cool. But you don't have any members there to actually use that pressure. You don't have people to find those picks, make those plays that you need to. And it's just a misuse of resources, really. Because now, let's see. This is where I want to look at Immortals and say, get your vision, get it topside right now. It's a minute until Baron. Use that as a bait. You can actually take Baron pretty quickly. You just need the members there, right? Like, you need Potluck, Insanity, and Altec to be just beating down on it. You don't need to kill it. You just need to threaten it. You just need to be there. Because Team Liquid's comp doesn't have that turret, like that objective capability. And it makes it that point where it's like, okay, well, Immortals is taking Baron. We have to answer them because we don't have the real, like, momentum yet to just say, all right, we're just going to force mid-side. We still have a 2nd tier to go to get to that inhibitor turret. But look at this! Potluck getting caught with his pants down once again. You were window shopping, buddy. And Team Liquid, once again, takes that advantage that Immortals was trying to set up and flips it in their favor. The only thing good for them is Alorem here, who's just been constantly on this bottom side, causing just a migraine of pain for Jenkins, having to deal with it. This is just nice because I hate, like, when you're a York player, Eulogy Maiden just, like, sits so far behind you that it just lets the enemy team sort of take it if they have any sort of crowd control, and they kill it, and you're like, all right, well, there goes my side lane pressure for the next minute and 20 seconds. Now I have to wait that out until it respawns, and then I can throw it down and then create that pressure again. So now Immortals is on a timer once more to say we have to wait, get that reset. Okay, now we have the side lane pressure once again with Yorick. Now get that vision control, but you have that window for Team Liquid to do the exact same thing. Get vision in the jungle, get that pressure in the top side. They have all of that ready for them, good to go, clearing out and denying vision as well from Immortals. So it's once again that poor use of vision resource and not manipulating it properly to where Team Liquid has been doing it so spectacularly and causing such concern for Immortals' composition to where now you are 21 minutes, almost about to hit 22. You look at the items, they're closing in on that 2 to 3 item power spike where Team Liquid's composition will take over, and oh, the pain coming in from Yasui and Tactical take down Insanity, making him 0 and 3. Just horrible, horrible time for that set mid lane. I don't think I'm going to be playing set mid anytime soon. I was expecting a flex pick when I was seeing that drop in the draft. I was like, okay, set, you could throw jungle, top or jungle. I don't want to see it mid though, no way. But then they throw it mid, and I'm just like, okay, you threw it mid against a Ziggs. Big thing. I don't know about that one, Chief. It's alright, you got Shelly, you had to use it. Will you get any damage? No. Yasui is able to clear that one, no problemo. There's now 30 seconds till the Cloud Drake. It is Cloud Soul as well. So Immortals has to fight for it. At least they're baiting this one out. Sure, it's not Baron that I was mentioning, but they're baiting out an objective at least. There's so much damage going on to Potluck. Will he be able to get alive? He does. He is on that back line. Tactical is so close to dying, but he's able to get away. And now the members of Immortals are on to Schernfire, who also is able to just slip by, but he dies by the hands of Altac with that double tap. And now there's actually pressure here for Immortals. All 5 members are in this mid lane. Will they be able to use any of it? They're going to run it to the Dragon, deny that Dragon Soul from Team Liquid, and at least get some kind of pressure on the map for the first time in this 23-minute game. Spectacular work. Finally a plan that is working for Immortals. You tried plan A, you tried plan B, you tried plan C, let's try plan Wind, and you done it. Now you just gotta hold that pressure. You gotta hold that advantage. How do you do that? Well, reset that side lane pressure. Perfect time to do so. Go ahead, sit back, reset, get Alorm to use a couple of his goldies and get some items with the exchange of money. But it does allow some time for Team Liquid to look for some vision control, reset it back onto this top side as neutral objective of Baron is the only thing on the table. And oh, no gate. Oh, no gate. Get back in the doors. You're in some trouble. Gets caught out by Cow. That's just unfortunate, buddy. That's what you need. That was Team Liquid grabbing that vision control, always being there. Cow having that advantage. Gets the kill on him. It's not the worst time to lose him, though, because Team Liquid, again, doesn't have that neutral objective taking capability. They could kill it very slowly, but they'd rather be sieging. They'd rather find those picks like that, but have the side wave control to abuse the fact that you are a man or 2-man down. Here you go. They actually are going to start it. So they are threatening this. There is the vision. Here comes the members. Potluck, Insanity, and Alltech are all available. Alorm has the teleport capability, but Jenkins is keeping him at his turret. And there you go. That's the bait that Team Liquid wants. Yes, they know they can't take it. They just want to see if they can drag someone in with them and create that man disadvantage. Alorm going to be resetting, which means Immortals has to keep on the back foot for just a while longer. Does have Eulogy of the Isles in just a moment, which means that side lane pressure will come up and available. Another thing as well that people tend to forget to mention, that the Maiden does have tank buster capability. It will be able to shred Jenkins and Schernfire a lot faster, especially when it hits that 3rd level where you're able to hit for 10% of their maximum health as bonus magic damage. It's just brutal work, and you just don't want to deal with it when it's in the side lane. Now again, Surnfire going in for that threat. Once again, pings immediately coming out from Immortals saying, hey, they're doing it again. They're threatening us. Are we going to let them try and take this with no punishment? Answer is no. Surnfire's already too low as it is, but it means that they might find a catch on that top side. Cow did miss the death sentence, so they will have to retreat for just a moment to get themselves back up and running. Get Surnfire reset. Let's see if he's able to grab anything here. He does have the Kindle Gem. He is going to be going for that Knight's Vow when he bought that Chain Vest, so it's more sustainability for Tactical here. You're going to be throwing that Knight's Vow onto Tactical, get that additional regeneration and sort of damage reduction onto your marksman, who is really the only massive amount of damage that is consistent. You have Yusui, yeah, but the cooldowns can be pretty long, and it's more of that massive burst damage, right? Like, you have the zoning pressure. That zoning damage is great, but he constantly needs to hit those bombs, and especially with the Mega Explosive. Like, those are just all, that's all burst. And then you have that constantly coming out like every 2 seconds with the small bombs. But it's really Tactical that you want to keep your eyes on. If Tactical falls in these fights, it comes down to where Team Liquid says we can't team fight anymore. We just have to play on these offsides and throw out these bombs and poke constantly to where Immortals gets to the point where they don't have the health bars and resources to actually survive and take any objectives. Speaking of objectives, Jenkins on this bottom side. Hello. You were left unattended for a little bit, buddy. Alarm's gonna come in, see if you can't take that turret. No, get out of here. Yeah, you had the bomb to disengage, but that's alright. Alarm says, I still have some pressure here. Not gonna use Eulogy just yet. I think he's holding on to Eulogy until he knows that he can confidently either have that side lane pressure against Jenkins once again, or for those team fights, for those objective fights, because of that tank busting capability that the Eulogy is able to do. It does a surprising amount of damage. Like, I'd like to see if we could get some stats for that, to see how much damage Maiden will actually provide in those team fight capabilities. Maybe stats can get on that for me. Thank you. Now, 30 seconds until Cloud Soul once again, which means you can contest this side on the bottom side. And it causes a little bit more of a struggle for Immortals because of the fact that you're still using your sidewave pressure on the bottom side. It is that one that is really the weakest. You've only taken one turret out of this 27-minute game, which means the only sidewave that you really have that pressure on is that bottom end. Everything else is totally fine and dandy for Team Liquid. And here you go, back end, you're going to be baiting those objectives. You force a flash away from Lorem. That's great news. But now let's see if Immortals is able to manipulate this fight well. There is the Maiden for that team fighting. And the rest of this bomb, there's the offsides from Yusui. See if you can find anything. That's a nice Mega Explosive bomb there. That's a brutish amount of damage, and that just means Team Liquid hits the go button and tears apart Immortals. And takes down 2 members and forces everyone else to retreat, tails between their legs. And that is going to be Cloud Soul for Team Liquid Academy. It will cause another big concern, a giant big red exclamation point on the map for Immortals. Hey, yeah, that's right. There's an Asher on the map, and this time we do not have the pressure to contest this properly. We need to see if Potluck can try and sneak in, see if he can get a smite steal. But they're not going to be going for it. You're down to 7,000 health on Baron, and Potluck is going the other way. They're fighting for their just sort of slight pressure to survive. Make sure you have those sideways under control so they can't manipulate the Baron too much. And the power play goes in favor of Team Liquid for this Baron. But now with those empowered recalls, that means they have just enough time to sprint on back to base, refill their health bars, and go to the bottom lane where Lorem can no longer split push. He cannot do that against this Baron-empowered Team Liquid. Especially with Jenkins now, who is going to be getting onto his 3rd item fairly shortly. Does have the Essence Reaver and the Trinity Force, which will cause so much concern because at that point, he just one-shots all of these. Every single one of them. So the only thing going for him now is if he can actually sort of keep them at bay and make sure that the cannon, like the actual barrels and cannon barrage won't be able to do too much against him. But now you can just sort of deathball his 5 as Team Liquid. You say, you know what, we have a team fighting composition, let's use it, let's group up, make sure we have some management in between the lanes. Jenkins can go ahead and get some additional free farm. and just make sure, you know, Immortals is just having a terrifying time. You have 2 members on the top. They're like, okay, we need to get a turret, but you don't have empowered recall, buddy. You're not going to have a lot of time to get back to the base and defend your inhibitors. They're already beating them down. They take down 1. Will Immortals look for more? Alorum is still on that top side. They're doing a base race. I don't think this is the best idea, buddy. Alorum, get home because Immortals is crying for help. The sieging from the satchel charge is so terrifying. And there you go, Podluck goes in. Can you get anyone? He gets a 4-man lockdown, but it's not enough damage. Team Liquid is able to survive to say, let's come back for a round 2. There comes the showstopper. That's a lot of damage onto Team Liquid, but it's not enough. And a double kill, bow! Bomb! Coming in from Yasui. Dropping all the members of Immortals. Gate is left to his own. Let's see if he can glock him down. Bullet time secures the kill. And there's no one left alive. Alorum just has to watch as the grave is being dug. And OTL takes the win.